Hello everyone. Disgracefully, Dublin City Council management intend and bring forward bylaws to end the practice of volunteer soup kitchens and soup runs in Dublin City. This is a disgraceful move by Dublin City Council, which is to attack the homeless community and is an attack on volunteers and people who are caring, empathetic and who step up because the state fail the needs of some of our society's most vulnerable people. This year alone, 40 people have died in the streets of Dublin. There are record amounts of homelessness, record rents, record house prices, and record amounts of people that are forced to sleep on the streets, all due to deliberate and successive government policies, a completely manufactured disaster that benefits very few in Irish society, the landlords, the developers, the big vultures, and all facilitated by government policies. And their answer now is to attack some of our society's most vulnerable who are struggling to get by day to day, and attack the people who step up to support them when the state have failed them through systemic policies. Now, it's important because the elements of these bylaws have been brought forward by the TShock's task force, and that was headed up by David McRedmond. David McRedmond is dead set on privatising the postal service in Ireland, and he was tasked with this task force. And one of the moves on this, one of the proposals, was to move away from high profile locations in the city centre. We see all around areas like Grafton Street, GPO are used predominantly for soup runs many nights of the week because they're visible locations, they're public locations. But of course, maybe many of the rich don't like seeing homelessness on their doorstep and don't see the facts of the policies of the Irish political establishment that lead to such abject poverty and devastation. But of course, this report went on to say that this is about the safety and dignity of the people, and they have to be using better and proper regulated services rather than being reliant on the volunteers. Now, again, this is complete and utter nonsense. You think in the first instance they would work around preventing homelessness by offering people security in their homes. Up to 60 to 70% of people who are forced into homelessness are come from the insecure private rented sector. But of course, they won't tell you that because they want to benefit their rich friends from profiting from the extortionate rents in Ireland. And of course, they won't mention the fact that the people in homelessness need wraparound services. Of course, that's not part of the cure of this self-fabricated disease of homelessness on the streets of Dublin and all around Ireland. And they also say it's undignified and it affects the privacy of people who use those services. Well, it's undignified being homelessness in the first instance. It's maybe do more to redistribution of wealth in the first instance. Maybe offer people a home. But of course, this is beyond the reach of these top of society clowns that are more interested in looking after the NGOs and to really benefit the homeless industry rather than actually benefit people who are in desperate need of having security in a secure home and to address the needs of poverty. But of course, this is what the Irish political establishment's all about. It's been going to be brought forward by Dublin City Council early in 2025, and it's going to be a vote by Dublin City councillors on this. So I urge you to contact all your local Dublin City councillors to vote against this and demand that people stand up, and a home is a basic social good in society and not seen as a reason to make huge amounts of profit at the expense and to the misery and detriment of ordinary people. But of course, they don't want the tourists to see people on the streets. They want to push them down to side streets, onto lanes, out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. That's what they want with homelessness, rather than face up to our full-blown humanitarian disaster. Maybe they want to bring back the workhouses. Maybe that's part of their agenda. It's really Dickensian times we're living in Ireland when you see them attacking some of our society's most vulnerable. And on top of that, people who are step up when the state failed them, such as our well-meaning and caring, empathetic, voluntary people involved in soup runs. And this is what it's all about. It's all about serving the agenda of the political establishment. It's not about dignity. It's not about humanity. It's not about meeting their nutritional needs or having proper safe spaces for people. It's really about trying to control the narrative and to normalise homelessness. Homelessness should never be normal. It's never acceptable to be normal in any civilised society. But contact your local councillors around this, and please highlight this issue as well, because everybody in society should be fully opposed to these draconian, Dickensian moves to attack some of our most caring people in our society who step up when the state have deliberately failed them. So thanks for all supporting my videos. Please share them, and please spread the message. This is happening in Dublin, Ireland. So let people know exactly what's happening on the streets. And don't forget, 40 people already have died in the streets of Dublin this year. Disgraceful, but again, never gets the attention it deserves. Thanks for the support of my videos. Really appreciate them. Take care. Slán.